Solovyov has called for the wiping of Ukraine off the face of the earth with nuclear arms. And that is no laughing matter.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. We start with a brand new picture of today, October 20th. The great climate activist Greta Thunberg dedicating her weekly Friday protest to freedom for people in Palestine and a call for a ceasefire. Now, a rally in New Haven, Connecticut, sponsored by Jewish Voice for Peace, of some 200 to 250 people.
End the occupation! Palestinian liberation! 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 Never again is now! Never again is now! Never again is now! Confirmed that we were going to do something. Never again is now! 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 Never again is now!
I know that.
Never again is now!
Dana was.
Never again is now! Never again is now! Never again is now! Never again is now!
Perfect time.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! What do we want? Ceasefire. When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
When do we want it?
Now!
Look at where we are. We have friends and family who have not finished sitting Shiva for the community after the attacks in the towns in southeast Israel. And yet we must be on the streets pleading with the U.S. and Israel to stop their genocidal campaign on our Palestinian family and friends in Gaza and in the occupied West Bank. We are all strong and wise enough to hold up the sacredness of all life, to mourn for our Palestinian and Israeli friends and family and comrades. It is our sacred task as Jews in the U.S. to fight for the humanity of all.
It sickens me. It brings me to tears, and it outrages me. The only way for Jews and Palestinians to be safe is for the apartheid to end and for the oppression to end. That's the only way. Brad Siegel, an expert in Holocaust and genocide here in the United States, he's Israeli, has written in Jewish Currents and other places that this is a textbook case of genocide. Peter Miner has asked us the question, so now, what now? What now? If the murder of Palestinians that's happened over and over and over and over again in Gaza and in the West Bank and in Jerusalem, what's going to make Jews safe in Israel and around the world, then they'd already be safe. So it's not, what they're doing now is not going to make Jews safe.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Where are we like rolling?
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
evicted from their land, from their homes, and they've been refugees. Our family has been refugees for 75 years. I'm going to make this bit brief. All I want to say that what Israel is doing in Gaza now rises to the level of war crimes.
Yes.
War crimes.
Yes.
And anybody that supports Israel and encourages Israel is complicit in the war crimes. You have something to tell Biden. Be careful. You could end up in The Hague. You need to tell DeLauro also that supporting war crimes will allow people to charge you with war crimes.
That's right.
We look forward to seeing them in The Hague. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Israel is a terrorist state.
Israel is a terrorist state.
Terrorist state.
Terrorist state.
Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Free Palestine from the river to the sea.
Thank you.
By the 75 years of occupation, siege, oppression, a year after year after year of congressional complicity in these crimes. Year after year of congressional complicity in these crimes.
Shame.
Shame. Was told, he said he wanted to bring some jacket or a sweater or something for his children. He was told by the Israeli Defense Force soldier, your children shouldn't be alive.
Shame! Shame!
Never again for anyone.
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 Representative DeLauro and the entire Connecticut congressional delegation did not sign on to the resolution or to the letter. Instead, Representative DeLauro said she was proud that the U.S. has moved military assets to the Eastern Mediterranean.
The rally was supposed to last 45 minutes, but people kept on acting and speaking and chanting for 90.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. What do we want? Ceasefire! What do we want it? Now! Thank you!
A staggering 5,000 people descended on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. on a weekday in a rally called Jews Against Genocide. Later, 300 were arrested inside the Capitol Rotunda in their protest against the genocide against Palestinians. The call of the rally was ceasefire now. A resolution was presented like that at the United Nations, but Biden and his cronies vetoed it. Here's video of the action from Democracy Now!
I'm going to be real with you all. My colleagues, many of them, I usually don't talk smack about them. No, I'm usually considerate because I don't like them policing me, so I don't police them. But as an American, not just as a member of the United States Congress, I am ashamed. I am ashamed that they're saying, not yet, maybe next week. Not yet, Rashida. Maybe in a couple of days. How many more have to die?
That was the only Palestinian-American Congressmember, Rashida Tlaib, addressing Wednesday's historic Jewish-led protest of thousands in Washington. This is the award-winning author and writer, Naomi Klein.
Thank you all for being here. I have never seen anything like this in my history of Jewish anti-Zionist activism. It's been decades. We used to be tiny. We are huge and growing. We have a sacred responsibility to engage with our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our brothers and sisters, and try to save their souls, to keep them from indulging in this quest for bloody vengeance. We are here because we will not let our fears of anti-Semitism be manipulated in this way as cover for war crimes and colonial land grabs, and to foreclose on the possibility of a political solution.
And on October 19th, a rally at Indiana University of South Bend. Hundreds of Palestinians were killed after a blast at the Al-Ali Arab Baptist Hospital in the Gaza Strip. This is Mustafa Barghouti's view from Ramallah.
Israel committed a terrible airstrike on the Baptist hospital run by the Anglican Church, killing no less than 473 Palestinian people, mainly children and women, and injuring more than 300 others. Why? For what? It was all about the Israeli ultimatum that was already, according to WHO, sent to no less than 27 hospitals, including the largest hospital in Gaza, Shifa Hospital, to evict and evacuate so that Israel can conduct its ethnic cleansing of big parts of Gaza at the moment, with a plan of ethnically cleansing all of Gaza Strip. The strike was clearly Israeli. The type of explosion is something that no Palestinian militant group has. A huge blast that took the lives of almost 500 people instantly, in less than a minute. That's a power that no Palestinian group has. So it was a big lie. But Israel lied 4 times in justifying this attack. The first Israeli reaction was that they did the airstrike on the hospital. They admitted it in the first round. And they said they did it because Hamas militants were hiding there. Then they changed the story and they said that Hamas is taking Palestinians as a human shield. Then they changed the story and said it was Hamas rocket. And then the fourth lie, which is now dominant, is that it was a jihadi rocket. How could the United States repeat these lies and accept them without verifying them? Israel did that before with the case of Shireen Abu Akleh, when they changed their story 4 times. Each time, in the beginning, they said she was killed by a Palestinian, and gradually they admitted that it was their crime. Believe me, these lies should not be continued, and the United States should immediately support an immediate ceasefire.
And from my knowledge of Syria, this seems a no-brainer. Assad and Russia would routinely dismiss their responsibility for atrocities with a standard packet of lies. They would say they were taking out terrorists, or that the terrorists were using civilians as human shields, that the terrorists killed their own people by accident, or that the terrorists killed their own people on purpose in a black flag operation to get world sympathy. And free Syrian organizations have rallied to support Palestinians after this hospital blast. However, there may be an on the other hand. Bellingcat.com, which is a terrific group of people that uses publicly available video and advanced techniques to find out the truth, did a first article on the disaster at the hospital. They identified what they said was the point of impact. They say the usual Israeli bomb would have made a much larger crater. That's as far as they went. But, you know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Who in their right mind would believe anything that the Israeli government said. And who would believe them now while they're in process of a total siege of Gaza, banning the flow of water and the import of food, and when they bomb everywhere and at random? I just found out that the president of the Avon, Connecticut mosque lost 24 members of his family in the Gaza Strip. And there's a man named Anas whom promoting enduring peace helped to get to Egypt for eye treatment. He couldn't afford the cost of regular insulin for his diabetes, and that had harmed his eyes. Somehow there's sporadic internet from Gaza. Anas has written that he took his wife and children out of their home in Gaza City, and they're going from place to place. He received word that his home apparently had been destroyed, been blown up. 2 days ago, he said that 10 members of his family had been killed. The next day, he sent a picture of a number of them in winding sheets, including one very small body. Now I'm going to read a will from a child in Gaza. Apologies for any mispronunciations. Hello, my name is Haya, and I will write my will now. My money, 45 for my mother, 5 for Zaina, 5 for Hashem, 5 for my grandma, 5 for Aunt Heba, and 5 for Aunt Miriam, 5 for Uncle Abdo and Auntie Sarah. 2, my toys and all my stuff. For my friends, Zina, my sister, Dima, Mina, and Amal. 3, my clothes. To my uncle's daughters, and if there's anything left, donate them. My shoes. Donate them to the poor and vulnerable, after washing it, of course. Love. What kind of world is it where little children have to think about making out wills? By the way, this will picture was shared on Facebook by Nurit Peled Elhanan. She's an Israeli Jewish woman whose daughter was killed in a Palestinian suicide murder in 1997. Instead of having her life consumed with hate and vengeance-seeking, she looked fiercely at her own society and sympathizes with those who are victims of injustice, concentrating on crimes done to Palestinians. One thing that's being neglected during the savaging of the Gaza Strip is what's going on in the West Bank. Since October 7th, at least 75 Palestinians have been killed by the IDF or settlers. If the murderous assault on Gaza had not been going on, this terrible number alone would have been major news. These 4 were killed in the last day alone. Their ages range from 15 to 17. So Biden went to Israel, embraced Netanyahu, and gave a big blessing to all that he had done to people in the Gaza Strip. Morality aside, is that such a great idea? Will the U.S. green light to Israel be the start of a regional war that could go on for years? If Israeli ground troops invade Gaza, it's perfectly possible that Iran will send all its proxies and allies to the attack. And then what? Will U.S. planes be bombing Iran directly? Isn't that what the aircraft carriers are for that Biden sent to the Mediterranean? And that may be Netanyahu's wet dream, but how is that to the advantage of any of us here in America? Last night, Biden told Americans why they should spend vast new money to help Netanyahu and to aid Ukraine. It turns my stomach to have the noble cause of Ukraine linked to that of apartheid and now genocidal Israel. However, Biden is helped along in this by the president of Ukraine, who has professed complete support for Israel. The Ukraine Socialist Solidarity Campaign issued a statement criticizing Zelensky's stand. We'll link to it at thestruggle.org. On the 18th, the dreadful Jeffrey Sachs got a peace award from the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. I did an interview about this with Cheryl Zuur of the Ukraine Socialist Solidarity Campaign, and here's part of it. I'll be speaking with Cheryl Zuur of the Ukraine Socialist Solidarity Campaign. She's a former president of the union AFSCME Local 444 in Oakland, California. She's a retired industrial electrician. She worked for the East Bay Utility District. With all the coverage of the Hamas attack and the Israeli bombing of Gaza, Ukraine has taken a back seat, but we'll be talking about Ukraine, commenting about an event we oppose that will be taking place in 2 days on Wednesday in Santa Barbara, California. And if people are seeing this later, we're talking about 18th of October, 2023. The event is a peace award to economist Jeffrey Sachs. The award's coming from the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. We're also going to touch on a statement that the Ukraine Socialist Solidarity Campaign is preparing about Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, a statement he made supporting Israel. Good afternoon, Cheryl.
Hi, nice to see you.
So who is Jeffrey Sachs?
Jeffrey Sachs is a well-known academic and economist who I think that he first rose to prominence after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, when he was called upon and probably received a good salary for consulting with what the structure of the Soviet Union should be economically. And different people have different opinions about how successful that was, but that was how he rose to prominence as a progressive. And he's gone on since then to comment and consult on many things, including Ukraine.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Russia, I mean, his plan was shock therapy, a quick run to the free-for-all of laissez-faire or neoliberal capitalism.
Yeah, it's actually kind of confounding to me why he continues to have a progressive reputation amongst the left. He appears frequently on Democracy Now!, and he also has had many commentaries that have been published on Common Dreams, as if he is someone to look to for answers for progressive and for
well, it kind of reinvented himself as an anti-poverty expert, and he came up with a brilliant idea to end poverty, just throw a lot of money all of a sudden at the poor countries. And that hasn't happened, but somehow he has this reputation. So,
yeah.
So here the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation gives him a peace award. And there's a problem. Well, there's many problems, but he's been on a TV program of a Russian talk show host, let's call him, Solovyov. And what's the problem there?
Well, Solovyov has called for the wiping of Ukraine off the face of the earth with nuclear arms. And that is no laughing matter. And I don't think it's a laughing matter for Solovyov either. I think he actually means it. If you take the time to watch those videos, it's clear he's very serious about it. And in these 3 different interviews with Jeffrey Sachs sitting there just kind of, yeah. He doesn't say, yes, that's a great idea. But he doesn't say that is absolutely the most barbaric thing I have ever heard in my life. And I strongly disagree with you. He does not say that. So in what way is that consistent with someone who stands for peace? It's completely inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say it on the exact same show as Sachs, but he said it, what was it, 3 or 4 times? It was well publicized. In fact, a whole bunch of economists in the end of the winter, I think, of this year, wrote a letter to Sachs pointing this out to him. And by a whole bunch, I don't mean 5 or 10. I mean, it's like 200. And among other things, said he is calling for nuclear attacks. And he made another one, I believe it was just August. So just a couple months ago, another demand for a nuclear attack. And the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation, whose whole reason for existence is to oppose nuclear war, is going to give this man a peace award. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. Yeah, that letter of March of 2023 by a very large group of Sachs peers was really important. And it was led and originally drafted by Ukrainian economists at UC Berkeley, actually. And they not only pointed out his appearances on Solovyov's program, but they also, refuted they accused Sachs of being a Putin apologist and propagandist because he simply recites Putin's talking points about the war in Ukraine without any facts. And they disputed those facts one by one in that open letter. And I don't know if Sachs ever had to respond to it. And I would think that the leadership of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation would take a letter like that very seriously. But either they missed it or they ignored it when they decided to invite him and give him this award as a distinguished peace leader, which is why we decided that it was necessary to respond with a call on the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation to withdraw this award to Sachs.
See the full interview on YouTube. Search for The Struggle Video News. That's our program for today. Please go out this week and demonstrate against the genocide. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle Video News.